Hi everybody, welcome to drop number 15. In this video, I want to talk to you about Maslow's terminology, okay? And this is very, very important to fully understand and appreciate Maslow's work. His work, at least as it is presented in this book, Towards the Psychology of Being, is informed mostly by the same idea or principle. That is, that there are two forces inside every one of us, our safety needs and our growth needs. We talked about this in drop number 1, if I'm not mistaken. It was either drop 1 or drop 2. It's a fundamental idea to fully understand Maslow's psychology. And basically, these two forces within ourselves pretty much are responsible for the quality of our lives. The way we integrate these two needs in our lives, or we keep them in a nice balance, okay, that is going to determine the quality of our lives in the end, right? Our psychological and existential condition. So big cognition is what I want to talk to you today. And that has to do with a mindset, the right mindset that we should all have, we should all adopt. You're going to see in discussing or in talking about big cognition in this video that I'm going to go back to previous videos and previous ideas because all these things connect, okay? All these things relate to one another. So the safety needs and growth needs. I all the ideas or most of the ideas in Maslow's in this book, they align with either one of these two things, these two forces. Big cognition is short for being cognition. Okay, remember the name of the book, right? Towards the psychology of being, of existence. So this is for Maslow the right way to perceive the world, the right mindset we should have about the world, the be mindset, the being mindset, or the existential mindset, I would say. And this mindset aligns with our growth needs. This is the mindset that is going to lead to growth, okay, to a great optimal psychological condition. The opposite to that is the deficient way of looking at the world. And I said this before, Maslow sometimes use the word deficiency instead of safety, but they relate. They basically relate to the same idea of our safety needs. So the wrong way of looking at the world is, Maslow would say, decognition, D as in deficiency. It's a deficient way of looking at the world. It's a very limited, low resolution, and even toxic and pathological way of looking at the world. So we must clearly distinguish between these two ways of looking at the world so we understand what is the right way, right? What is the healthy way, the way that leads to growth, to healing, okay? Now, without further ado, let me start with sharing some quotes from the book because I have a lot of quotes here in this video. So here's the first one. Maslow says, in big cognition, the experience or the object tends to be seen as a whole, the experience, the thing we're experiencing, right? Or the object we're experiencing tends to be seen as a whole, as a complete unit, detached from relations, from possible usefulness, from expediency, and from purpose. It is seen as if it were all there was in the universe or as synonymous with the universe. This is the right way of looking at the world, of perceiving, the right mindset. Look at things and people, places, everything as unique in themselves, as having an intrinsic, beautiful, amazing value. Well, for example, if you go out and you walk, take a moment to look at the things around you. Look at the trees, look at the sky, look at the buildings, look at your car, and try to appreciate the complexity and how incredibly beautiful these things are. And when I say complexity and beautiful, remember, we have to avoid the mistake of looking at things from a purpose or expediency or usefulness perspective. Meaning what? Meaning, don't look at your car simply as the role, the function it plays in your life. Okay, it takes you to places, so it has some usefulness. Well, that's not where the value of the car should be. Okay, just look at the whole thing. Look at the design, look at the color, and appreciate the experience, right, of driving this car and having this car. It makes your life easier, right? But in itself, it's a beautiful thing. It's a good thing. Okay, maybe the car was not the best example, but places, going to a park, looking at a tree, especially, when the seasons change, when it's the fall and the trees look so beautiful. Gosh, you have to stop and look at those beautiful trees getting orange and yellow, red, sometimes purple. It's just a beautiful thing to watch. And if you're the kind of person who thinks, well, what's the point? What's the point of looking at a stupid tree? Well, that is decognition. That is a deficient way of looking at the world. Don't see the purpose of it. Don't see the usefulness of a tree. Of course, there's no usefulness in a tree, but still, it is still beautiful. It is still a beautiful thing to watch. So you must develop this way of looking at the world. That in a way relates to, in an important way, relates to mindfulness, right? Mindfulness is all about enjoying the present, living the moment, and appreciating everything that is around you, everything. Okay, and detach these things from usefulness, expediency, and all the things that I've been talking about, or Maslow talks about. So appreciate the beauty of every unique thing, and that is particularly true of people. People. This is something we talked about before, right? And I use the same expression. Look at every individual as a unique universe, as a universe in itself. An incredible thing, a unique thing, full of beauty, complexity, and even chaos, right? You can appreciate all those things in a person. I'm going to say more about that in a moment. But you see, this relates to a characteristic of the self-actualizing individual we talked about in the past. Having a superior perception, right? Remember? Psychologically healthy individual, they have a much better perception, a more high resolution way of looking at things. They see a lot of details. They can see the beauty in things that you might not consider beautiful or interesting. We must develop the habit of looking at things this way. We must. You have to stop and look at things and look at people, look at places, and see and appreciate the beauty of it for your own good. Okay, I'm going to continue with the quotes. When there is a big cognition, the right mindset, the healthy mindset, the percept, the thing that you're perceiving, is exclusively and fully attended to. This might be called total attention. What I am trying to describe here is very much akin to fascination or complete absorption. That's it. Try to be absorbed in all those things that you're looking at, you're contemplating, you're simply enjoy watching. Children playing in a playground. That's a beautiful thing to watch. Trees again, right? Things, cars, buildings. Gosh, I have the fortune of living in a beautiful city, Charlotte, North Carolina. And it's just a beautiful thing to watch when you have the opportunity to look at the downtown buildings, especially at night. It's a beautiful thing to watch. Gosh, look at the sky at night. Look at the stars. That's another beautiful thing to watch. There's so much beauty around us, friends. You have to appreciate that. Hopefully, you're not too caught up in your own little problems and spending way too much time on this, because then what you're doing to yourself is you're limiting your perception. You're developing decognition and that mindset of what's the point? What's the point? What's the usefulness? What do I get out of spending time walking? And what's the point? Well, that's decognition. That's a deficient way of looking at the world. Continuing with more quotes. Decognition, according to Maslow, I'm quoting Maslow, okay? Big cognition might be called non-comparing cognition or non-evaluating or non-judging cognition. You're looking at things you're not valuing. You're not like, okay, that car it's better than this car. It's more beautiful. No, don't compare. Just look at one thing and appreciate it. Give it your full attention, and try to appreciate all the complexity, the beauty of it. I said that again, right? I said that already. Next quote. Okay, when it comes to people, okay, gets it really interesting here. A person can be seen per se in himself and by himself. He can be seen uniquely and idiosyncratically, as if it were a sole member of his class. This is what we mean by perception of the unique individual. Every person is a universe. And a universe is a huge thing, don't you think? Well, there's so much in a person. I said this before. There's so much. There's a whole past that it's full of experiences, unique experiences, of struggles, desires, dreams, plans, and gosh, so many things. It's just an incredible thing, every human being. You must appreciate that. But Maslow is going to tell us exactly how on the next slide. Now, here's a great way to, a great analogy to understand how to adopt a big cognition sort of way of looking at things, especially regarding people. According to Maslow, the healthy mother, perceiving her infant in love, approaches this kind of perception of the uniqueness of the person. Her baby is not quite like anybody else in the world, obviously, right? It is marvelous, perfect, and fascinating. Those of you who have children, isn't it true? It's beautiful. Looking at your children, it's a beautiful thing to do. Like, it's fascinating watching them play, grow, and doing their things. I have the fortune at 53 of having a very young daughter. I have a 1-year-old daughter. So last year at 52, I became a father again. What a beautiful thing, and what a privilege. I have to say, I'm so grateful because having this opportunity at 52 with the wisdom and the experience I have, right, makes me really truly appreciate every minute I live with my little one. And just watching her grow, learning things, learning how to crawl, how to grab things, and how to communicate. It's just a beautiful thing, right? And obviously, we take all pictures all the time, selfies with our children, and it's a beautiful thing. So that approaches, according to Maslow, the right way of looking at people. Okay. I'm going to say more about that point, but let me share the next quote. Concrete perceiving of the whole of the object implies that it is seen with care. The caring minuteness with which a mother will gaze upon her infant again and again, or the lover at his beloved, or the connoisseur at his painting, will surely produce a more complete perception than the usual casual rubricizing, putting people in boxes. That what rubricizing means, which passes illegitimately for perception. So, okay, so it's an important thing here. Care, love, right? The lover looks at his beloved with care, with love. There's something so beautiful, so special about this person, the person you love, right? And again, the mother looks at her infant the same way, with care, with love. And the person who paints or knows about painting, knows about art, that person really appreciates a work of art. And he or she can stare at this work of art for hours because there's so much beauty there, right? This is the right way of perceiving things. This is big cognition. But when it comes to people, I think this is a beautiful analogy, the analogy of the healthy mother, the good mother. Next time you talk to somebody, okay, try to do this. Try to look at this person the way her mother would look at her, okay? Regardless of who the person is. Actually, try to do it with everybody, but especially with people you don't like a whole lot or people you disagree with. Try to see these people from the perception of their mothers, the way their mothers would look at them with care, with care. And it'll absolutely change the way you look at people. And it's going to transform your relationships in a positive way, for sure. Because I mean, think about when your child comes up to you angry. You don't reply with anger. You reply with concern. You tell your child, why are you angry? What happened, right? Did you have a problem at school? You're concerned because you care. Well, try to have the same reaction when somebody tells you something mean and they're angry at you. Try to be concerned rather than responding with anger. Be concerned, be caring. Try to ask yourself, what is this person going through? Maybe this person is having a bad day. Let me see if I can approach the person and with care and say, hey, I'm okay. Are you having a bad day? Or maybe later, maybe at the moment it's not the best idea to try to have this conversation with the person, that it's not having the best attitude towards you. But later, maybe you want to approach the person and say, hey, what's going on? I noticed you were really, really angry at me and you said some mean things. What's wrong? Are you okay? What did I do? Approach it with care. You might think, okay, yeah, right. You can actually do that. It is possible. If it's way too difficult for you, or maybe you're thinking, oh, this is impossible. I will never be able to do that with people. Well, to have that attitude, that healthy motherly attitude. Well, that simply means, friends, that your way of cognition, your mindset, it's decognition, it's deficient. And therefore, it is either producing a lot of distress and mental health conditions in you, or probably it's going to produce those things in you. So the quality of your life is not going to be the best. That is not a good way of looking at people, not a good way of looking at the world. So decognition, be caring in your perception. Okay, one more quote. Becognition, Maslow says, can be contrasted to the cognition organized by the deficiency needs of the individual, which I call decognition. Okay, so that's the association of deficiency, decognition with our needs, our safety needs, I would say. So I hope this helps. I'm sure you might be thinking, well, this sort of thing makes sense, but how do I do that? Well, little by little, steps. Take us one step at a time. Try to spend some time outdoors. If you don't usually do this, if you don't have the habit and you don't, because you don't see the point, right? What's the point? Decognition. Well, do it little by little. Go out for a walk, 10-minute walk. Just go out and try to look at things. Try to look at trees and try to see something positive about them. And try to make connections in your mind. Okay, why we have those trees there? Why people planted those trees? What's so special about those trees? Try to dig within and you'll discover beauty in things. Do it for 10 minutes, every day or every other day, and then try to spend more time and try to have the same attitude with people. Okay, try to look at people with care. I mean, we're all human beings, and everybody can have a bad day. You have had a bad day. So next time somebody approaches you with a wrong attitude, okay, think about that. Right? Maybe this person is having a bad day. I've had those days, and it's going to change the way you look at things, and it's going to make you healthier, stronger, and your quality of your life is going to be great. That's the path to self-actualization, to sustain joy, to health. So that's all I have for now. I hope this was helpful. And I got to say, in this book, Towards the Psychology of Being, Maslow uses this terminology a lot. The be cognition. He talks about be love and other instances, right? The right way of loving somebody. this way, like looking at somebody in their full complexity, appreciate every single thing about the person. Same idea, right? Being, be love, be cognition, and D love, and so on. So those two terms you're going to find a lot in Maslow's work, at least in this book. B for being, that's the good way. D for deficiency, that's not the good way. Being means growth. D, deficiency, means safety needs and no growth. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope to see you again on the next video. Bye-bye.